In 680 AD, the Third Council of Constantinople convened in Constantinople, the capital of the Eastern Roman Empire, altering the course of Christian history. At the time, the empire faced a desperate crisis of survival. Losing territories due to the formidable expansion of the rising Islamic Empire. Despite Emperor Constantine IV's urgent need for internal unity, religious division within the empire was severe. The Monothelitists, who believed Christ possessed only a divine nature, stood in stark opposition to the Chalcedonian Orthodox, who maintained that he possessed both divine and human natures. To resolve this, previous emperors and church authorities put forward a political compromise known as Monothelitism, which stated, while acknowledging that Christ has two natures, his will and operation are but one. However, this desperate measure backfired, igniting fierce opposition from Orthodox theologians and the papacy in Rome, plunging the church into even greater chaos. Ultimately, the emperor summoned the council to put an end to the religious strife and stabilize the empire. The core issue of the council was whether Jesus possessed a human will. The Monothelites argued that Jesus's human will was entirely absorbed into the divine will, meaning only a single divine will should be recognized. On the other hand, Orthodox theologians countered that, if Jesus was fully God and fully man, he must inherently possess a human will alongside his divine will. Orthodox figures, including Maximus the Confessor, argued that if Christ lacked a human will, he could not be considered truly human, thereby rendering human free will and salvation impossible. This was not a mere semantic dispute over theological phrasing. It was a profound question of whether to recognize the agency of the human Jesus and the intrinsic value of humanity. After intense debates lasting until 681 AD, the council ruled in favor of the Orthodox position, declaring that Christ possesses two inseparable natures, along with two natural wills and two natural operations. Just as Jesus prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane, "Not my will, but yours be done," it concluded that Christ's human will does not oppose his divine will, but completely submits to it in beautiful harmony. In this process, any form of compromise that abandoned truth was strictly rejected. Previous patriarchs who had tolerated heresy solely for political peace, and even Pope Honorius I of Rome, were posthumously condemned as heretics. The legacy left by this council resonates deeply with today's modern society, which often loses its way amidst conflict and compromise. It serves as a historical warning that false compromises, which abandon principles to escape immediate crises, ultimately lead to greater division. Furthermore, the Council's steadfast defense of Jesus's human will reminds us of the dignity of humanity in a modern world, where unique human agency is increasingly lost to the advancement of technology and material civilization. In the end, the Third Council of Constantinople demonstrates that true harmony can only be achieved upon a foundation of fundamental truth, rather than short-term interests. Acting as a compass that points toward the value of humanity, we must protect in an increasingly mechanized world.